Now it's that time of year. Spring is here. Flying season on the East Coast has already started a little bit. And we're getting ready to pack up the van. We have a couple days left. And we're going to be heading out to Texas. Rich Jacobone and myself are going to be making roughly a 30-hour ride in my Windstar. And as everything we do, we're looking forward to just the adventure of a lifetime. Now, this will be our third annual trip. Rich and Edie Oliver will be our host. We're looking forward to interacting and sharing some good times with all the people in Texas. We have had the two previous trips to Texas have been just absolutely wonderful, and we've had a great time, and we're going to try to make this an annual affair, and it might be something somewhere in the future you want to join us. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy the little presentation we have and the video we shot on this trip. Join us now. Now, just to set the stage, in the past year we've built this unique, I think rather unique airplane with the help of John Cafaro and the designer Les Demet. Les is going to be joining us in Texas with his girlfriend, and we're going to be having, I hope, a whole week of just the best times flying, good weather, something we don't have much of up here in Jersey. Now, we really have one more day left before we're actually going to leave, and Joe Adamusco is going to try to make it up here for one more flying session if we can this weekend. We're going to try to get some flights in on Saturday, early in the morning, and then come back, pack the car, and head out to the great state of Texas. Now, all of these adventures, all of these trips, and I've been to Pasco twice, to Reno, Lubbock, Houston twice. No matter where I go, it's always an adventure, and my little pet saying is, an adventure isn't much of an adventure if you know where you're going. But in this case, we have a map. So that absolutely guarantees we're going to get lost along the way. Now, we're going to hope to spend some time with Al Raby, and hopefully he'll have his new plane, the Critical Mass. Bill Rutherford with his new Mustangs, other ships that he's built. We're looking forward to seeing all the guys from Texas. That's always the part of it that's special, is the people. And they have a great group, and it's just hard to describe unless you've been there what a great time it is going to Houston to the Memorial Day contest. There's also a slight chance, and it is a slight chance, that Bill Rutherford's going to be able to arrange that we're going to get to see a real Spitfire. It's based down there. Not sure if that's going to really happen, but if Bill can make it happen, we'll be most appreciative, and I'll be looking forward to that. I'm bringing 2 cameras, among other things that I really want to see and do, and Scobie Field, maybe a trip to Bill Rutherford's shop. We try to keep a loose schedule, and we try to just let it unfold as it does with a life of its own. Now, last year in Texas we got to fly, and it was some of the early flights of the plane, the trim flights. That set of videos is still one of the ones I enjoy playing over and over again. We have some counter-rotating props from Doran Morisano already for this ship, and when we get back, or when the contest season pretty much comes to an end here, we're going to go back to testing our counter-rotating props. But it's one of the highlights of the past year of 2005 was flying the Tiger Cat in Texas. This year we're going to fly to Testarossa. The year, and that was last year, well no, it was the first year that we flew Miss Ashley in Texas. I think everybody in Texas got to fly it, and that was one of the real nice things. Going up to John Gunn's contest in Texarkana, that really was pretty special. The Memorial Day contest in Houston, again special. And maybe even a trip to visit Dub and Donna at that fabulous shop that Dub has. I think it's the only place in the world that they know how to make bar stock engines. This is the first time that we're going on our trip or vacation, and we don't have to make an allotment for our friend Chicky. He passed away last winter. He's on the other two tapes, of course. And we have made a nice little memorial for him in the garden. Now before we leave, we're painting up a few extra wood props to bring with us. The paint's drying. We have this Two Little Adventures. And I know a lot of people have seen the videos before this and the subscriber videos. And of course, Chicky was always the star of our video. He's on over 200 tapes. When he passed away last year, this is where we buried him, and this is where we made a little, kind of a nice little thing. He's buried in a Rojet box right under that little, I don't know what you would call it, bird fountain. But this year we have an even greater adventure. Now, it could only happen to Wendy. It could only happen. I want to just share this with you before we start getting the final days before we shoot out to Houston. I'm not sure you can even see what these little feathered friends are, but these guys are, there's 3 little baby robins in that nest. And that nest is, since the day Ken Ticer was here, that's right in our backyard. And we have been watching them grow. Now the problem is, when I get back from Houston, they will already have fledged. And we enjoy every morning and every evening sitting out here and watching them. Now there's the mama. Or is it the papa? See, we can never tell. But we watch this. We watch the action constantly here. It's unbelievable. Things that happen in Wendy's backyard. Now look, she's right in front of us. Look at those little faces. They are so cute. And they grow every day. They already have the little orange feathers on their chest, proving that they're going to be robins. Anyway, and as I've said before, this is just so close. And we do enjoy. It's almost like an addiction. Karen and I sit out here and we're on those chairs and we just watch this endlessly. But anyway, we do have a day left before. Oh, look at this. They're itching and scratching and everything. We do have a day, and there's actually one more day, and it's hopefully going to be a day. Joe Adamusco said he might or might not come up. We're going to find out tonight if he's coming and have some stuff for him. And then when we're done with that flying session, this vehicle will get packed. And like all adventures, I bet these birds are having an adventure. Hey, you birds, I'm going to Texas. I'm going without you. Just hard to believe it could be this much fun. Anyway, I have put the camera up here and just let it roll video for hours, and then gone downstairs and watched some of the action. There's some stuff going on out here with these babies. It's pretty intense. They're itching and scratching and everything. Going to Texas without me, huh? Try and feed your babies. Stop being a baby. Anyway, the paint on our props is all dry. These are our spare 14.5 rev-ups that Ken Ticer graciously, I wouldn't say gave us, loaned us. Since he's running a 76.2, he's going to probably want to use one of these if he doesn't have one. Just one of the prop choices we're going to have for testing down in Texas.
First it's ducks, now it's possums.
Now you don't know. This is our neighbor Dale, and she's got 3 baby possums. Now, how can you make this up?
Right. How can
Now I had. Oh, they are cute. Oh my God. Oh my God. Look at them.
These animals have had more pictures taken of them than I have.
Oh my God, what a surprise. I had no idea. Where were they, in your backyard?
No, they were over at Chris's.
Oh.
But I haven't told a lot.
Oh my God.
How long did you have the possum?
I had him 2 years. The possum I had 2 years. And you know what? When I got him, he was a third the size of this. He fit inside a Ronzoni macaroni box.
Oh my gosh. Well, these were good. I mean, they were eating, you know.
See what I'm doing? Look at where the ladder is. I'm up there trying to take pictures of these baby birds. I got 3 baby robins. My brother-in-law comes over yesterday. He has 4 in front of his house. Oh God, I can't believe how cute these are.
Yeah, they're adorable. My mother loves them. She doesn't want me to give them back.
You know what? You can, without any effort at all, they become good pets. They really are no effort at all.
That's not what the...
Now, you may not believe it. Hard to believe. See that possum in my shirt? Now this is, remember in the 60s when everybody had an afro? See, even I had an afro there. Look at this ugly, unbelievable. I think this possum was better looking than me. Boy, the action going on in that backyard with the baby birds, baby possums, and we're trying to get ready for this trip. Holy mackerel. A lot of distractions. Well, here the day before leaving turned out to be a nice sunny day, but unfortunately we got a lot of stuff to do before we're ever, and I mean ever, going to be ready for this trip. A lot more packing. But 4 o'clock tomorrow morning I'm going to meet Rich by his house. And we're going to go on our adventure. And I hope, as always, that you'll enjoy sharing it with us. Now we start this lovable adventure at 3 o'clock in the morning. And we're leaving beautiful downtown Rutherford to pick up Rich. So how long we been on the road now? Is this 4.5 hours or 3.5?
7:30.
3.5 hours, we're in West Virginia already. And the speed limit's 70. Woo. Warp factor 9. Now if you look off to the side here, what you see, all these people in tents. We're in Virginia.
Yeah, see where
And the people, yeah, there's signs all over the place. They're reenacting the Civil War. They got horses. They got all costumes. Look at, there's thousands of them. Look at this. It goes on forever. Holy mackerel. Boy, every road trip is an adventure. Civil War reenactment. I wonder if the same side still wins. Maybe they got it jury rigged so that the South wins or something. We just drag raced this hot rod car here, but it looks like he's beating us.
That's okay.
Looks like we lose the drag race of the day. We just got some guy. We got him in there. Is he on the mirror? Just married. He didn't look that happy either. Did you notice?
He's going very slow.
He's probably running out of money. We're having a great trip. How many miles have we done on this already? My chauffeur
70.
here. My professional chauffeur. Chauffeur-driven Windstar.
70.
No, how many miles altogether?
Oh, I don't know.
300? What time is it?
When I took over, 370.
370? The beautiful downtown hills of Virginia. They're reenacting a Civil War. People are getting married. People are drag racing us. What a road trip. Our next attraction on this road trip, what is this guy towing, a 56? Yeah, 56.
56 Chevy. The Continental kid.
Yeah, that looks pretty nice. No, it's a 4-door and it's got fender skirts, so it's not hot rodded out.
Bonneville.
Yeah, Bonneville convertible.
I think it's a 66.
And what year is your Pontiac? Rich happens to have a Pontiac.
62.
Well, you got a 62. You still have it, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's a nice car.
Oh, yeah.
That's a nice shape.
Oh yeah.
Only instead of a log roll.
Here we are. Welcome to beautiful Tennessee.
And a Marine manning an FNM.
And we got some Oliver North tapes. We have audio books of Oliver North's adventures.
That ought to offset Gore.
News Channel Bureau.
Oh, forget that. What a road trip. How many miles we got on here, Commandante?
594 and count.
Coming up on 600 to the border of Tennessee.
8.5 hours.
Since
into the trip.
Yeah, we left at 4.
by terrorists.
from Rich's house,
Guys aren't taking
and we're in Tennessee 8.5 hours later.
Vehicle complete. The waves inside.
Well, we're coming up on Chattanooga, which is about the midpoint of this trip. What do you say, Chief? Midpoint?
Yeah, that's about right.
Middle of the trip?
Yeah, almost there.
And this is, just look at both sides of the road. This is what it's been like. Just beautiful. We had about 10 raindrops on the trip in one spot. That was it. Chattanooga, 25 miles.
40 kilometers.
Okay, what's that license plate? Easy Lovin'?
Easy loving.
Easy Lovin'. And here's one of the key points in the trip, just a little past halfway. Welcome to Alabama, owned by Tom Morris, Governor Tom Morris. Man, this is some. Now, well, actually, we hit Alabama at exactly 12 hours. We hit the Alabama border at exactly 12 hours. How many miles is it? Can you see the speedometer, Rich? It's 830 something.
Can't see it from where I am.
Now we're in Mississippi here, and we're already starting to see the byproducts of Katrina. We thought we saw all the trees being uprooted, big piles of trees, and we've been on the road how many hours? 16 hours? 12? 16 hours on the road. We're in Mississippi, and we're looking. There were quite a few uprooted trees back a ways. Now it looks not too bad. We're still trying to figure out what those big piles of trees were. Yeah, there's quite a bit of stuff knocked over on both sides of the road.
She had it turned off there, and she pulled in front of me.
Yeah, we just had a little incident with a Tennessee resident. Boy, everywhere you go, there are just trees missing, trees down. Holy mackerel. This is a real eye-opener, this part of the trip, and we're about 100 miles from New Orleans still. Wow. Well, we're closing in on New Orleans and looking at some of the damage along the way here. Wow.
Everything except the baby. That's the one thing that I didn't get from you. Isn't that sad?
And Corporal Brian Matthew Kennedy.
Okay, here we are. Welcome to Louisiana.
When their CH-46 helicopter crashed in Kuwait while carrying out combat operations.
And we are now in Louisiana, and it's dark.
The British Marines.
As we cross over into the Texas border at 21 hours and 10 minutes. Look at this. Welcome to Rich Oliver's home state of Texas. Welcome to Texas. I bet you didn't think we were going to make it, did you?
No, I had faith.
21 hours? What do you think, Chicky? We're going to ever make this or not? Chicky says yes. How many miles is it to the Texas border? Can you look at the
1495.
1,500 miles? 21 hours? Holy mackerel! This man is a dynamo.
We're rolling.
We should enter the NASCAR 500. You know?
Houston, 113 to go.
All right, and then we got to find his house if we can find it in the dark. Hope he left some lights on. Now, as we come down to the last of the turns, down in beautiful downtown Houston, the time is 23 hours and 1 minute. 23 hours. We couldn't have made it in 23 hours. Oh, you had to slow down there. We could have had the record. We could have been somebody.
We could have been a contender.
Yeah, we could have. So the time, doorway to doorway, as we pull in, the white couch is already here.
3 hours, 23 hours.
23 hours and 10 minutes. And that is the record. Door to door. So you might think every squirrel in the world is up in Wendy's house. Nope. He's got them down here too. What a great ride. And it looks like a beautiful, looks like a sweltering hot day here in Houston. Get a little picture of Rich and Edie's house. Now, everybody was up before me this morning, and Les's lady, Ann, is making us breakfast. I can't wait. When you've been, you know, that Moussaoui, you're in solitary confinement 23 hours a day. Well, we were in this. This is solitary confinement, 23 hours in a row. But Rich was good company. The trip was great. It was just sad seeing all that damage around New Orleans, but we really had a good trip, and now we're ready to get down to brass tacks here. So when you come to Texas, this is the one thing you always need, is a new air conditioner. Look, we get here, he buys us a new air conditioner. Of course, we have to install it. Alright, so we're going to install an air conditioner probably sometime during the week. They got the first of the 90s out here. See, this is a tough life. It's not exactly like living in Jersey and fighting off the squirrels. This is the first of the Rojet 90s.
And that's real fine breathing. How's that? For a half A.
I think we should put it in your Stuka right now and put it in Matt Newman's Stuka. Be a real man. He's having trouble. The plane's a little tail heavy. We'll fix that right now.
It was as happy as it could be with a 16.5.5.
It's not a problem, even though it's a quarter-inch taller.
This is, now see, this is what I was telling you about on the trip. This should be designed around a bent wing Stuka, where you have a short nose, a big cowl, and plenty of room to stick one of these exhaust pipes.
Typhoon.
Typhoon?
There you go.
How much does it hurt knowing we almost had the typhoon? Oh man.
I want to know when we're going to have another one.
Could happen.
I'll tell you, that was a beautiful plane.
And this is made for it.
It broke my heart.
Did you ever really look at a real Typhoon and see how short the nose is? The nose is over the wing.
I've crawled over one. Crawled around.
Oh.
If the cockpit had been open, I'd have crawled in it.
That would fit very nicely in the Focke-Wulf.
Focke-Wulf?
Not my Focke-Wulf.
A short nose Focke-Wulf, not, or a Corsair. Short nose Corsair too.
My Focke-Wulf is just 8 ounces of caviar.
Kenna, this is funny. We got some giant scale planes in here. I think that's Bill Rutherford's Bearcat, I'm not sure. Planes everywhere here. And what do you think we're going to do? Focke-Wulf wing. Plans to a new plane. 90. Rich's new plane up here with the wing and the body. And we're going to spend the day putting in an air conditioner because later today it's going to get, this is Houston where it gets nasty hot. So we'll put the air conditioner in while we're nice and cool. Take that plane out of there and we'll pull that air conditioner out. Now I don't want to say Rich is getting extra mileage out of this air conditioner. This is really a tough, look at this thing. It's rubber mounted now.
1987.
Look at this.
88, I put that
I'm proud of you. Well, we're gonna get this dialed in for him. Les, we got new 2x4s. Just put a new piece in there. Pull that right out. We got new 2x4s. You must have a saw in a shop. Look at these guys.
Garbage can. It's right here.
What a crew. Rich and Les's Air Conditioner Installation Company. And to make it extra cool, let's plug the 110 air conditioner into the 210 outlet and really get some cooling going here.
Fire that puppy up.
Fire that puppy up! This is funny too, you never know who your real friends are until it comes the day to replace the air conditioner in your shop. Holy mackerel. It's putting us to the test. Now of course the funny thing is we didn't measure this to see if it's big, if it's going to fit in that hole, otherwise we're going to have to pull that casement unit out. What am I laughing about? This will work.
Please, can it turn the other way?
As I've said before, very cool. Very cool. Rich, I'll tell you, there's no problem hiring these illegals. I don't see anything wrong with it at all.
Yeah, you guys get to keep your...
Jersey illegals. Show him your green card, Rich. Show him my green card. All this beautiful foam going in. We'll be ready to start talking ARFs, talking serious ARF technology here.
This one goes
And we got some stuff to show you. You're going to be impressed to death.
up top. Oh, like this. Stand it on the end. Stand it on the end. And
Now one of the things that's really been impressive, and we've been walking around here while we're installing this, is Rich Oliver's ARF.
that will close even more. Yep.
And he's going to tell you all about it as soon as we cool him off a little bit, I guess. Now, one of the reasons we always like to come to Houston, stay with Richard, of course, because of the good hospitality, getting together with all the other people from Texas that we enjoy, but always see what Richard has new up his sleeve, and he's got a lot of stuff this year. Now, you've already seen the 90, which we may even get to fly later this week. Now, this is an ARF that Rich, and I, you know, obviously you got people in the event that are dying to keep the builder to model rule. It's about as realistic as it ever was when you think of the Ukrainian planes coming in. There's probably more work doing this than doing a Ukrainian plane. But it's beside the point. The point is there's a lot of room for everybody's opinion. And this plane, supposedly, Rich has already flown it in contests. And it's an under $100 ARF that you can convert to control line real easily. And we're going to have Rich do a show and tell as soon as he gets cooled off. He's all hot from putting that air conditioner in. I had pictures of this on some of my subscriber videos, but I haven't seen it in real life up until now. And it is a pretty cool looking plane. Now, of course, cool is always in the eye of the beholder. Some people think this plane or that plane or a scale plane or an aerobatic plane or a profile or a cardinal or whatever they think is ugly or pretty or whatever, in the eye of the beholder. But if it flies good, there's going to be people that want to have this. And when you're talking about buying a full aerobatic stunt ship for under $100, I'm interested myself. Now you just think, out in our field, which we're going to lose our field, when we get back, our field will be gone. And we want to do a lot of flying and some pretty rough grass fields that are still available. This is the way to go. I may have to have them give me one of these or make one for me or whatever. And the big surprise is, this is not the only size they come in. There's a 90 size. So a lot of cool stuff, and we're going to be doing some pretty fun stuff for the next 6 days. And somehow this time of year, and I've just called Karen, and she said that back home it's 50 degrees, the wind is howling, it's raining on and off. We're down here and it's probably 90 already. We had our breakfast. Ann made us a great breakfast. Ann, you are okay. We all had something to eat. We're all going to do some shop work. We're going to do some show and tell stuff, and maybe even get over to Bill Rutherford's later. I'm not sure. But this is an interesting thing, and I want to hear Richard give me the full show and tell on it. Now, what we want Richard to do too, and he's going to do it on this video, on our videos, he's going to rebuild, completely strip down, check for wear and tear, replace any parts that need to be replaced, and put back together one of the bar stock Rojet engines. So there might be some good tips you can use on if you're the kind of person that's inclined to take your own engines apart, and I would highly suggest, just send them to Richard. It's just really not worth the effort. But we'd like to do it as a show and tell. And you see what Richard's done. Obviously this is an RC model, but he's retrofitted in adjustable lead outs. I think it has a Rojet, a 61 rear exhaust. You can see the controls down in the fuselage. It's got wheel pants, it's got fiberglass wheel pants. Actually, what I think, and I told him this, and I think what would be really nice with one of these is to pull off all the covering and do some custom paint job, like a Leo Ludenschlager kind of paint job with all kind of stripes and stars. Anyway, there's always somebody who doesn't want to see ARF succeed. I happen to think there's a place in them for our event, in our sport, along with a lot of people who want to bring more people into the event rather than drive them out. And I think the ARFs and semi-ARFs and adaptable ARFs, the top flight ARFs and the Brodeck ARFs all do a real good job of helping promote our event. And the people that naysay and poo-poo it, you got to wonder what their motives are. Now, if you look at this covering real close, it's got like a a fabric weave to it. It's kind of neat stuff. And again, we're going to get Richard to give us a show and tell as soon as he gets cooled off and cleaned up. He has done a great little job of putting this together. It's got the curved down header, muffler pressure. Looks like a Rojet 61. Some kind of composite or plastic cowl. It isn't even oily inside. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous to know how good of a job you can get from an under $100 airplane. These would be the boxes, I assume, where the servos would go if this were an RC model. And the biggest thing of all, it's got a nice thick Pattern Master Cardinal impact type of airfoil. Looks like it's got a ball link control system like a Tom Morris system. Very cool. I have to admit that is. Oh, that feels good. Ooh. Well, when you're in Houston, the only thing you want to do is be by an air conditioner. Is this the one you had the plans to? Oh,
Yeah, right. What I did was I glued it down to some.
Okay, that's the cardboard? Or?
Yeah, it's a big sheet of oak tag,
Okay.
and you see here's the regular construction paper. Look at the difference in.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's not
So-
durable.
Even though this is going to be modified, it's modified on the second one. The contours are still the same.
Right. Okay.
So when you cut
Gotcha.
it out with an X-Acto knife and take a piece
Right.
of sandpaper, get the edges down, use it as a template.
Looks a lot like a Trivial Pursuit. I don't know.
Yeah,
Just,
doesn't it?
to me, just like a Trivial Pursuit.
Yep.
See this wheel pant? Looks just like a Trivial Pursuit wheel pant to me.
Yep.
See this ARF? Looks just like a Trivial Pursuit ARF to me.
Yeah.
You know, in lawyer speak,
See these wheels? This looks just like a Ted's wheel.
You know, in lawyer speak, that's plagiarism, and he could go
Ooh.
to jail.
You can go to jail for copying a Trivial Pursuit.
Could I really?
Look at how much it looks like a Trivial Pursuit. This is such a ripoff of a Trivial. And that rudder, that's exactly Ted's rudder. Oh my God, exactly Ted's wheel pant. I can't believe you do that.
Oh yeah.
And here's the wheel pants for the Testarossa. We finally have wheels.
Indecency knows no bounds.
The man is a plagiar. So give me the whole history of this.
let's get some of this.
Looks a lot like a Trivial Pursuit though. I don't know. I'm going to have to call Brett Buck and find out.
You know, the Chinese don't have to abide by our copyright law.
They can just steal
They
things.
steal things.
Sure. Well, they're Chinese. What's the difference?
Yeah. $89.95 kit. Chinese
Okay.
model products makes it.
Okay.
The reason why I chose it first and foremost was control line shapes. Big flaps, they call them ailerons. Big elevators, and the wing area was sufficient. It's 670
Okay.
square
Yeah.
inches. Thick airfoil.
And you could put some Trivial Pursuit wingtips on that if you wanted to, just to make it bigger, make it look a lot more like a Trivial
There's a
Pursuit.
fine line on breaking copyright laws and
Oh.
they're slightly under.
I'll have to ask George Aldrich about those Flight Streak wingtips. They look a lot like Trivial Pursuit wingtips to me.
But,
By the way, we're just joking. Leave poor Ted alone. Come on.
and a lot of this is called a 3D. airplane.
Okay.
The current RC crop of 3D airplanes must be light. They must have fairly thick airfoils, and they're designed to fly at 0 ground speed.
These are the things that hang on the
They
prop.
hover, they do
Okay.
torque roll.
So this all works to our advantage because they got to design a stunt ship.
They got to design a stunt
Okay.
ship because it must work with no forward speed. It flies off the prop blast, so it needs big surfaces.
Right.
It needs thick airfoils to fly
Right.
slow.
What would this typically have? A 40 in it if it were an RC plane?
This is a 40 size airplane for RC.
Okay.
40, 46, 51.
Okay.
But pretty standard RC layout, servo boxes, ailerons are operated. That's why there's a joint.
I sewed the the aileron boxes underneath.
Yeah, and it's one in each wing. But the throttle servo is actually under there. So when I cut this out, I had to dry it back in because I opened it up.
Okay.
So I had to cover up that.
That's a standard exhaust that you can buy off the shelf, or do you have to bend that or make it? Or
I had to make that. This,
Okay.
This is one of my header mufflers that I bent to come out where I wanted it to
Okay.
before I assembled it. I made it up, but side exhaust would work just fine on this. The more I fool with non-piped engines, I'm finding the side exhausts have more power. The 40, the 51, the 61, 65 all have more power.
well, they always cool better. That's a fact.
Well, they cool better, and the mufflers work with the least amount of restriction.
That's true of the 40s too. I know.
Especially the 40. The 40 does not like being restricted.
Less than I found out what happens if you don't put a hole in the exhaust gasket.
Oh, yeah.
They really don't like that.
They won't even pop.
They-
Not once.
I gotta find that video and put it somewhere on this tape. Les and Wendy with the really restrictive exhaust.
The 40 case is so small and short that the
Well, it's a super light engine too.
super light, the port arrangement is such that when it goes rear exhaust, the crank really covers up this port
Oh, okay.
more than it should. Mm-hmm. So when you rotate it to side exhaust, then the boost port, see, this is the boost port when it's rear exhaust.
Right.
Your good power comes from the boost port, which is in the middle. It's not the Schnurl ports on the sides. So this boost port suddenly opens up, and that's where you get your good power. Where the side exhaust is a natural. When you rotate, we lose 300, 400, 500 RPM going through the exhaust. But it cleans up the airplane. It's a nice installation. The header muffler, it actually ends up being lighter than the side exhaust. And it works. I mean, it's still enough power to fly a classic airplane. But you get a much more solid 2.4, good torquey run from the side exhaust. And the same for the 6165.
Well, what's true is on the bomber, they're all side exhausts, and those always were. The motor of choice. I had rear exhaust, and I could have used them. I used the side exhaust.
Yeah, the rear exhaust makes a nice no cleanup.
Yeah, it makes it pretty plain, but if you got a radial engine, there's no advantage. It's going to come out somewhere.
This was used for setup, obviously.
Yeah. Every run starts with this little bit. So you got to make a couple, find out where it's off, and fine tune it. But,
Now, is it easy to see how the bell crank is in there, or
yeah.
Well, no.
that's what everybody's going to want to see? Is how do you get the bell crank
This is
in there?
almost ready to fly RC, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That you converted to control line.
3D
Yeah.
pattern plane.
Yes. Now I have pictures of all of it. They're not printed; they're on the computer. So if you want to,
What we could do later is go through picture by picture and just capture it on the video, so
Right.
anybody that's going to be doing this.
the whole bell crank, I took more pictures of that because that's really the only place that's not self-explanatory. The rest of it is.
And that would be helpful, and my suggestion would be to pull that part off the DVD. I'll make you a bunch of copies, and anybody buys one of these from you, throw the DVD in there,
I've got.
along with your own comments.
I've got about 10 hours of tape.
Okay, oh, you got it, okay,
Yeah.
great.
But it's not edited and it's raw. It's
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it takes 20 hours to edit it.
yeah, because there's a lot of wasted area in there. There's times I backed up and redid and
Yeah,
changed
yeah.
and
No, that's why I don't edit a lot.
This is a nice fuck wolf. You're gonna.
Okay, it has just a little bit of tail weight, I guess, to bring the CG in where he
So you're
wanted
pretty
it.
much
2 ounces.
underweight.
Total weight of the plane.
60 ounces.
Right now, as it sits, 60 with the
ounces.
tip weight.
With a tip weight and 2 ounces of tail weight.
I like the tip weight box. That's pretty
much
slick.
underweight.
The Scotch tape tip weight box.
This is,
Yeah, I saw that last year.
when I bought this airplane,
Or
the
not,
idea
it's
was
on
to have a expert level competitive airplane for $90 that I built in 2 or 3 days to go to Texarkana with. Standard engine, wood prop,
Right, no high-tech stuff.
no high-tech stuff, no high zoot, and I defy anybody to say that any airplane flies any better than this one.
Well, you can say it, you just can't prove it. And the fact that it looks so much like a Trivial Pursuit. I mean, you put this next to Ted's plane, you wouldn't even know which
Yeah.
one to pick up.
I think Ted's servo boxes are the next.
That's right. That's right. You got it.
See, these are servo.
I can't wait to get to the Nats and see Brett.
But
We should have t-shirts made up.
yeah,
I saw yours, yeah.
Oh, one thing, Richard, cover the fuse detail here.
Keep in mind, a lot of the things we say on the video, we give each other a hard time, but we don't mean to, well, Rich will show you with his shirt. Look at this, the Homeland Security. That's pretty good. Fighting terrorism the old-fashioned way. Kill the white guys.
yeah, we need shirts for the Nats that says they're all just trivial pursuits.
They're all trivial pursuits. And those wingtips are not Flight Streak wingtips. And that canopy did not come off a Cardinal. Poor Brett.
Especially this one. Let me get the tape off. I'm gonna take the canopy off.
Oh, this whole front comes
I
off.
flew the Texas gun in the contest.
Look how this comes apart. That's pretty cool.
Was within 5 points of winning the contest.
Beautiful.
Well, I guarantee you'd win the contest if you had to start building a plane the day before the meet. You'd win every year. There'd be nobody even in second place.
And these are just sheet metal button head screws from Dubro. I think these are
Nothing special.
Number 4. Drill a hole and screw it in. Tap itself.
Okay, there's no
By the way,
high-tech
you know
stuff.
how he's holding the motor to the nylon mounts?
No, I didn't say.
Self-tapping sheet metal.
Sheet metal screw.
Hey, if the motor doesn't come out, that's the deal.
You drill the holes and you run those in, and I guarantee you
That nylon
not out of nylon.
does not turn loose of that screw.
When you use one of wind, when you go to put
60.
that nylon will not let go of that screw.
Yeah, the guys in other countries are very interested in this airplane because they don't have BOM.
Yeah, we don't either.
There's already
We have it in name, but not
There's
in
already
reality.
2 guys that have ordered these airplanes from here and having them shipped, one to Australia, one to South Africa, and the guy said it's still only $180 with shipping.
I'll bet Ramo might want one of these. I can picture Ramo. Ramo, here you go, baby. Fly in the snow. Put some skis on it. Get that Javalia coffee going.
Yeah, I still have
Ramo's a good friend from
Sweden.
Sweden, baby. Road jets in Sweden. Love it.
Richard, is there a piece of tape on here?
There could be if you see it. It's invisible tape.
Not with these
So,
glasses. Not with these glasses.
Now, who builds these?
Where this would be nice to have one,
China
Rich.
model products.
Rich, think about this. Now, in a case like this, you get down a field, it's really a crappy, windy, rainy day.
That's it.
Especially at the club field.
Yeah.
You pull this out of the car,
That's it.
bingo. You get to fly instead of just hanging out and drinking coffee.
I mean, it even comes already painted.
Wow.
Now you take a pair of scissors and you
Trim
as you
it,
can tell,
yeah.
I didn't do a good job at trimming it, but
The only one thing wrong with this plane. The lead outs come out the wrong way.
no,
Coming out the
the
wrong
wing
way.
is removable. You just turn it over.
But then up is up and down is down.
He can figure that out.
No, he can't.
But flaps at the top, so that the flap ratio is reduced to the elevator. Elevator's at 1 inch. This is at 1.5 inches.
That's all standard Tom Morris
Standard
stuff.
Tom Morris.
No.
His bell crank, his horn. I even buy the
Right. All commercial
ball
stuff.
links.
Right.
I mean, for about $12, $15, you can buy all the hardware.
Now this looks reinforced back here. You put a piece of 64.
64 plywood. I removed the covering and just.
And what is that? An 1/8 horn or the horn that comes with the
1/8
kit?
horn.
At least he didn't do what Raul.
Oh man, don't tell him about Raul.
But,
Our friend Raul, he flies around, the tail comes off his plane. And he says, that's the way the kit is. All right, Ramo, here you go, baby. These are standard nylon screws, license plate screws.
120 nylon.
No, the reason I asked is if they were metric, it'd be a nuisance. Then you got to buy a metric tap and everything.
the first thing with any Chinese kid is getting rid of all the metrics.
Throw all the metric stuff away, yeah. Unless you live in China or in Sweden.
Interesting, we took a caliper last night and checked the diameter
They're
of the
just
landing
tight,
gear
too
wire.
close.
4 millimeter.
They disengage.
Is that bigger than an 1/8 inch?
Yeah, slightly.
Slightly bigger, so.
Actually, it's a little bit bigger than 5/64.
Okay.
Now, even though this is threaded, I put the lock nut on here because how else are you going to hold it on there?
Sure, sure.
It's a standard 440 lock nut.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got to admit, as all us guys get older and you have less and less time to build, and then when you have to fly at places like our club field where you could lose a plane in a heartbeat, ARFs make a lot of sense.
Well, and like in Ken Teicher's situation.
Oh, and Kent's flying on a toilet bowl down there.
He bought one of those after the, was it 93 Nats? Him and I told him, he says, I just
Right.
can't get my bottoms down. I said,
Right.
get you an airplane you don't care about.
That's right. That's
he
the
went
way
and
to
bought
do it.
two Teosakis. Next year, he
Right.
had 5-foot bottoms to die for and one advantage.
Yep. That's a true statement too. Did you ever try to fly it without the canopy just to see how it looks?
I did fly it without the hotel for about 2 seconds. Now this is
Oh, I see
something
how they go
added. I added to it because it needed, the top needed to be tied in.
Okay.
sells for what?
$89.99.
$89, you believe
You
that?
ordered on Saturday night, go have it Wednesday morning. I started it on Wednesday morning, test flew it Thursday evening, and left for Texarkana late Friday.
The other thing too, you could take this if you don't like the way it flies, you go down to Joe Bescher's off Seafield, get $50 for it. And don't tell them it's converted to control line.
Tell them there's a bell crank in there. Yeah, glue everything up except for you do need to get in here to get to the tank. But
Oh, the tank goes in from the back?
it comes in from back behind
Okay.
here. But that's how I tied the top in.
Okay, so making that piece was one of the only...
That's what kept the fuselage from breaking off the back end.
Okay.
Because the only support for the whole back end of the fuselage was the screws.
Right, I got you. Now in an RC plane, how do they do that? When they make this an RC
I think
kit?
they break them the same way.
They
as I
just
did.
break them, yeah. I've seen a lot of that happen.
And front's just held down with a stud.
Okay.
It's aluminum. Set goes into the plywood.
Okay, 2 screws in the back.
Now you see these, this gusset here and this stringer here is something that Richard added because of the
Right,
failure that he
right.
had with the
Because
original.
this is all
fuse.
it supported, the whole back end of the airplane.
Okay.
And
So you gotta beat that up.
well, it needs to be connected above the wing.
Sure.
Yeah, like I say, if you're not going to take the wing apart, you can connect it here. But since I wanted to be able to take the airplane apart for whatever reason, not sure, so I built some more structure in here to make that tied in.
And
And
that tank goes in from, just from the back. Okay, you got a bottle tank in there, plastic?
yeah, just normal. I don't know what's holding that in there.
Oh, foam, I see, with the canted out, let's throw that up close.
Standard Sullivan 6-ounce tank.
Canted out to the back with a piece of foam.
And it turns
The foam
out
holds it in.
the floor that's there is perfect.
Okay, perfect tank height, okay.
Perfect tank height.
That's
I've
nice
never
to know.
changed it since I stuck it in there. In fact, I was wondering why this wasn't coming out.
Yeah, that's good.
And rather than build in supports
Yeah, all
and
kinds of,
that,
yeah, nonsense.
I
Yeah.
stuck this in there because I might want to lift it up.
Right. Okay, so the nose of this is plenty strong. This is the only part of the model that needs some reinforcement.
Yeah, that's a catastrophic.
Now, where's that piece of, let me see that for a second. That's just 1/8" plywood.
1/8" light ply.
And obviously you could make a plan for this to show, or just show people what you
Yeah.
did. Or in the worst of all worlds, I could tell you what you could do if you were going to make several of these. Plus one side's flat, make a rubber mold, make them out of composite.
Yeah. It just needs to tie.
Right, I know what it's doing, yeah, it's
Yeah.
tying that all together,
So
yeah.
now you could also, I think, greatly enhance it if before you build it,
Losing the screws.
you strip off. This is balsa, so this
Right.
also lets it move. And if you were to come in here, lay in light ply here,
Sure.
or even cap it with 64th ply, or
Couple layers of glass
7,000
cloth.
carbon, just
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
stop the movement.
Right, right.
Yeah, the twisting. You're losing your screws, Rich.
Push your screws to that.
Right there.
Did I just knock them off?
You might have.
Good thing about Dudro, I did lose mine.
You know what? Richard, is this a permanent part of the kit? Comes that way?
Comes already in.
Now, let me ask you another thing.
Because I don't like blind nuts, I thread the wood.
If you approached this company and said, I'd like you to make me 100 with that modification, is there a limit? Or is it an unreasonable limit that
One thing I'll tell you about the Chinese,
they want to make 1,000?
no, they'll make anything you want if you'll buy a container load.
Okay. And these obviously come in a big box. They don't come in a shoebox.
It's a fairly large size box, but it's below UPS's oversized. So it's
Okay, so you can ship
UPS is
UPS
84
oversized.
inches length.
Right, okay.
With girth. It's slightly below that, so you
Okay.
don't have to pay the
Extra.
Yeah.
which is smart on their part.
I'm thinking, Rich, how many guys in the club could benefit? Ruben's son, Mike Cooper. So you have a plane you could fly at these abandoned fields.
Sure.
I mean, I hate to take out a good plane, especially a silk span covered plane.
come with it too?
Wheel pants come with it. This gear was on the other airplane when I crashed it. So other than it knocked some paint off here, I guess by twisting or whatever it did, I just stuck them on here because, like I say, I was trying to get off the Texarkana. So it would have taken me another hour just to assemble the wheels, the wheel pants, but still, I didn't change anything from the kit. I used their
All right, I'm
hardware,
trying not to leave out any steps on
their
this.
wheels that came with it. If we put the Dave Brown wheels on it, get rid of the wheel pants, drop another 3 inches.
Really?
Now, you could put, I'm just thinking, you could put a carbon fiber gear on here.
You could, because the plate's glued in.
I mean, you're gonna have that reinforcement in there anyway. That's going along. That's not a free thing. You know, the reinforcement's already in there.
Landing gear costs more than the whole plane.
Not if you buy the Chinese one.
Buy the Chinese one. What's the difference?
There are other kits that come with carbon gear.
Okay.
That one over there, we'll take it out in a minute and I'll show you.
Okay.
The carbon gear is $6.99. The fiberglass cowl in that one is $8.99. Painted.
And it fits like a glove.
Fits. So when we take that one out.
Well, anybody that can't see this in the video, by the way, the workmanship is like everything. All of the Brodak ARFs, all of the things, laser cut, everything
CAD
fits like a
design.
glove. CAD design. There's nothing that's sloppy in here. There's no big glocky
You
glue
don't
joint.
see any gaps or anything.
Nah, nothing. Look at the workmanship, even where the little formers are, and there's nothing.
It's done assembly line by workers who don't have to know anything.
They know they need one
This
step.
Fits, that fits.
Right.
Hot glue gun.
Right.
Now they do. The hot glue guns that they have now has a different polymer glue that actually gets hard. It used to stay.
I remember. Yeah, I remember.
But they have gone to epoxy around the nose.
Okay, so they've reinforced. But any model is going to know to reinforce that. I mean, you know.
But I didn't. I wanted.
Yeah,
I flew the
okay.
first one. I said, okay, if it's going to break, I want to know that.
Yeah, exactly.
And the nose hasn't offered to give up, and since I tied that in, this airplane now has about 100 flights on it.
And obviously, before the week's out, we're going to get to see it fly.
Oh, yeah. We may get.
Absolutely love the laser cutting.
Well, laser cutting changes everything.
Not only is it easy to build from,
Even if they made
It's
this
perfect.
a kit, it would be easy. It would just go click, click, click. If they made a kit of this thing,
it's perfect.
interesting.
You know what I like? You think this is cheap?
Wait. Just the big one?
It's not the big one. No. Now this
What is it? Just another
I'd
one?
like to build this for 76, but what I did with this one is I called up the company and I said, I don't really want your wings because I think they're too small and they're too thin, but I like the fuselage, and I'll build another wing wrap because the fuselage is fiberglass.
But even if you bought it with the wing and threw the wing away, how much are we talking about?
125.
125?
And
Yeah,
it
that's
looks
hard to
just
deal
like
with.
the box.
That's hard to deal with. How thin is the wing? Are we talking really thin or?
12%.
Okay, way too thin. Unless the plane was ultra
Wow.
light. Oh yeah, look at this.
All
Look
the
at the
radial
workmanship.
plywood comes out.
Look at that, Rich. That. All right, it's e-glass, but that's no problem.
And
And it's got gel coat on it, but that's.
but see, once all this structure comes out, you build a wing, you
Yep.
cut this out.
Yep.
Get the wing
right in.
to any wing you want in there, and then you slide that through and glue it in, so you lose all this heavy plywood.
Oh, if I got an
This
idea for you.
this is like
You leave the wing in and you get foam shells, like 2 clam shells to go on top, and then just put Scotch tape on the front.
Who did that?
Wendy's
Koch did
World.
that. Koch
Wendy's
did that with
World.
One of their stunners.
It's even got the little holes for the push rod in the back. Look at that cowl, huh, Rich? How heavy is that cowl?
It's not heavy at all.
It's light, right?
And
Look, they even got the louvers cast
it's
in
super heavy paint.
Where's the scale? You got a scale? Put it on a scale. 3 ounces?
Turn it on. Hit the on switch. Okay.
there. Oh, he's going to the other one. Going to
There's an
the...
electronic one
Right
just right at your chest.
That might even fit on Al's Bearcat up
Hit the
here.
on. You have to hit the on switch first.
That is nicely made. I have to admit, I'm jealous.
And
Where's the landing gear that comes with it? You said it comes
Look
with
at
it.
this. Look, watch this.
Nice. All right.
And then the cowl goes back over that whole thing.
yeah, and the cow covers it up.
Yeah, that's very nice. Nothing wrong with that. How heavy is this gear?
There we go.
Come on, give me the other gear. I want to see. You know, talk is cheap. My gear is an ounce. Let's see what their gear is. Talk is cheap.
He's still...
How much?
I can't get a reading.
Did you turn it on first before you set the cow on? Because it will zero itself to the cow if you don't.
If that's less than 3 ounces, you're home free all.
0, 0, Rich.
Well, that's really light.
That's really light.
No, you have to pick the cow up.
Pick the cowl up.
And I'll put the cowl
Hit
back on.
Switch.
Hit the on switch.
Wait for it to zero itself. Once you see a zero, then stick it on.
3.5 ounces.
3.5? Yeah, I could live with that.
Heavy paint.
Yeah. Well, you could strip the paint off if you want to be a fanatic.
It will peel off. But it's fuel-proof paint.
Okay. I get the paint off with a heat gun in a minute, fuel proof or not.
Oh, once you break the envelope, it peels right off.
Yeah, it's saran wrap. Well, all of those 2 parts, that's
Yeah.
the downside. They become saran wrap when they're not done
Get
right.
in there, Rich. Okay, we got the tray.
All right.
And
So-
what's odd,
I want to see if their gear is less than an ounce, then I'll be
if you
impressed.
don't like the carbon gear, they give you an aluminum one too.
How much is the aluminum?
Oh, it comes with the kit.
No, I mean how much weight?
How much you weigh? I don't know. It's heavy. Well,
Let's see. The scale never lies, how well I know.
All right, it's 0.
For us it is.
If this is more than 28 grams, forget it. 60. 58, it's double my gear.
58.
Boo! They should take a look. Let's see what the aluminum gear is. This will be 80 or 90. 118, forget it. Out of the question, Rich. You got to go with Windy products. They're always lighter.
you got to make one that looks just like it.
I could make the same thing.
Pull the mold off of this.
I'll pull a mold off that and put a nicer finish on
But
it.
would you sell it for?
No,
$6.99?
don't. I wouldn't even put it in a postage box for $6.99.
$6.
Forget
Why,
it.
what am I doing here?
That's why they eat rice and I eat steak.
Hit the on button and it'll zero. But when you turn it on,
Yeah, this is
zero
really
itself
nice
to
stuff,
anything.
and we hope from the video that you enjoy seeing some of the new products that within next year are going to start
Same company
changing the hobby.
next up. China
Look
Mall
at this.
products.
CMP?
All you need to do is adapt a different wing on this, and that's it.
I already have the wing for it. Had Hunt build me a foam gel one. So it's a little bit thicker than this, but not a lot.
So it'll fit right in that profile.
Yeah,
You
almost.
You just lose the fillet.
You lose a little bit.
You almost could use the fillet as your...
Well, and the way I look at it is, by the time I grind all of that away, I'm getting rid of this anyway.
Yep.
So I want that structure gone anyway.
Yep.
Because I don't need it.
That's definitely cool.
But also, I don't want a flat stab.
You want an airfoil
I
piece.
want an airfoil.
And this piece snaps right on. I'll
Yeah, just fits the groove.
drop that on there so I can see what it looks like with the cowl and everything on. I think this is cool as can be.
It's a gorgeous airplane.
Oh, it's even a nice paint job.
Yeah, it's nice. There's a scoop on the bottom.
That is definitely a find.
That is nice. Now, what is this, a yak?
So yeah, now when they took the wings out, I bought it for $75. But I think with enough horsepower, you could have flown the wings in it. It's thin and it's only 500 squares.
Well, could you put a 40 in here?
It's
No, not
30%
really.
flaps.
Yeah.
So you've got such huge flaps like that one. You've got huge flaps.
It'll turn.
It has enough lift. Frank Williams Katana,
Right.
30% flaps, and airfoil is probably 10%. Airplane flaps good as this one. It's just small.
Well, there's no one formula that works. There's a lot more than one. It's ridiculous to think he always has to be exactly this or that or
But
the other.
like I said, these airplanes for me are destroying the stunisms that I've heard for the past few
Yeah,
years.
but
that
they've been fake. Well,
absolutes.
the people that really know that that's a lot of bullshit, and it's only the people that buy into Stuka stunt and stuff that would even consider that stuff.
Yeah.
People that have built a lot of planes know there's a lot of way to skin a cat, a lot of way to skin a yak.
Yeah.
So, what's next on our show and tell here?
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you about. I bought.
Now, what kind of crutch are you going to be using?
I'll use a firewall mount, plastic firewall.
Yeah, plastic. About 10 different companies make them too.
No sense in complicating it.
Can't you even get rubber mounted? Those.
You can, but they're heavy.
Okay, those
And-
hide. What are
Yeah, hide mount or there are ISO mounts, but a hide mount is like $250.
they? So you buy a plane, it's $80, and there's
$250.
a $250 motor mount.
You don't really get anything.
And when you
for it.
crash, the only thing breaks is the motor mount.
the reason the RC guys do it
They save the servos. Is
saves
that the reason?
servos, saves the airframe, and they have strict noise restrictions.
Okay, so it cuts down on the buzz.
Cuts down the airframe
Yeah,
noise
yeah.
and the buzz, and so
Right.
they do it only because they have to. But
Those wheels,
I
right?
just ordered, and I hope it gets here this week. I
Which?
bought.
Was that? Did
No,
that come out of that
those
box?
no, those are lesses. I bought an electric version that's bigger than this.
Hmm.
It's 600 square inches with a thicker airfoil. The entire airplane, as it comes out of the box, is 18 ounces. And it's also a Yak 54. But
Well, the European guys like the look of this yak. I notice a lot of them were trying
I love it.
to emulate that style where there's a giant canopy and two big dolls for pilots.
Yeah.
And that
Now,
seems
the
very
Yak
popular.
55 is a single seat.
Yeah, we
I
have
kinda like it.
we have a 55 up in Lincoln Park. We have a Yak 55, the red and white one.
Who owns it?
I don't know. It's privately owned. It's always in a hangar when you walk.
Oh, a real one.
Real one. When's